Everybody, it's Michelle, and today I've got for you a quick and effective Pilates mat arm workout using a TheraBand. So let's go ahead and get started. So come down to your mat. We're going to start seated. Open your band up nice and wide so that when it goes around your foot, we have the best chance of it not rolling up on us. Okay, so get it nice and flat. Have your legs outstretched in front of you, as straight as is comfortable, and then crisscross the band so that the opposite tail is in the opposite hand. All right, so you're gonna sit up tall. You can grip the band with whatever hand grip you would like, kind of an over or an underhand grip. Either will work just fine, okay? So sit up tall, right on top of your sitting bones. Take a breath in. Now, all we're gonna do here is take a small bicep curl and round over our legs, and then inhale and sit back up. Now, this is not gonna feel intense on the arms as a bicep curl. It's more of a way to pull our spine over our legs in a little forward fold. Yeah, so my band isn't really getting any more tight. It's just staying taut. Okay, so the elbows start soft and we pull the body over the legs. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing out, pulling the abs away from the legs. Good. Now this time let's get down there and hold and take a few extra breaths here, really focusing on breathing into the backs and the sides of the ribs. And then exhale, draw the abs up and in. Good. Do that 2 more times. Now you're also pushing your feet out into the band, so you should feel lots of work for the sides of the hips and the glutes. And then sit yourself right back up tall. All right, next we're gonna go into some upper back extension. So you're gonna bend the elbows, lift your sternum, widen across your chest, and look up to where the ceiling meets the wall, and then return. Do that again. Now again, I'm pushing out with the pinky edges of my feet to keep the resistance and to help the lower body be connected as well. So although the arms are doing all the flashy stuff, the legs are working pretty darn hard here. Let's do that 2 more times. Lift up through the front of the body. Now last time, pull and hold it just like we did for the flexion. Just try to stay here for an extra breath or 2. Maybe try to widen and open even more through the front and then release. Okay, now we're gonna alternate one of each of those. So bend the elbows, pull your body forward, sit up and widen the elbows to extend. Yeah, so the arms and the spine working forward and then up and back. So my elbows, for me, are never really getting straight. They're just kind of staying soft however they need to keep the band nice and taut. Now you can always adjust your grip on your band at any point. Hold closer to the tail end to make it lighter, and then away from the tail end to make it heavier. One last time. Stack, feel that connection to the upper mid-back muscles. Last one. And then you can rest your arms down. Very nice. All right, so now reach your arms out in front of you. Get them straight if that's comfortable. If not, you can keep them a little bit soft. So now we're just gonna do some single arm rows, one at a time. So try not to twist your spine just yet. That will come later. Yeah, so for now, we're avoiding rotation. And whichever arm is pulling, the opposite foot has to kick a little bit harder into the band to maintain that resistance, okay? So just kind of getting used to that already. Now, pull with one arm, and we are gonna allow that twist and then return. Other side, pull and then return. Exhale, you wanna look towards that bending elbow. So good, so getting those obliques to help us rotate side to side. All right, now twist to one side and stay, and we're gonna do 3 pulses going deeper into the twist on each pulse and return. Now the arm that isn't bending is punching forward towards the legs, almost like you're pulling on a bow and arrow, getting that oppositional pull. Yeah, you can breathe out a little deeper on each of those twists, almost like your spine is like a rag being wrung out. You get more and more of the water out on each twist, more and more of the air out of the lungs. And then rest the arms down. Awesome. All right, next, Reach the arms back out long. No more pulsing, but this time we're going to add an arm extension. So maybe take your grip a little bit towards the end of the band. So you're going to start with that same bent elbow pull. Now watch where you're reaching. You're going to punch that arm back on the diagonal, return, and face front. Go the other way. Pull and punch, bend, and return. So you're setting that upper arm and elbow up where you want it, and then they can just stay as the lower arm completes the line. Very nice. Let's do that 3 more times. Twist, lengthen, try to sit up taller as that arm goes back. 2 more. Good. Last one. Twist, reach, return, and then allow the arms to come down. Amazing, you guys. All right, now we're going to face back front, kind of regather ourselves. Now, with no twisting, we're going to kind of do that same arm motion we just did, but with both arms at the same time. So start with the arms reaching out in front of you. You're going to pull both elbows back, set them up where you want them, and then we're going to punch the knuckles out to make a T, and then reverse that. Bend and reach. Do that again. I pull 1, punch to the sides 2, reverse 3, and back front 4. 1, 2, back of the hands, trying to go behind the torso. Elbows, reach, bend, and through. So good. At any time, you can give a little extra bend to the knees if that makes this seated position more comfortable. So nice. Do that one more time, like you're trying to punch your fist through the sides of the room. And then relax. Very good. All right, now we're going to get some rotation in the upper arm. So reach the arms out. Again, if you start with the band more slack, the resistance will be less. Here we go. So we're going to start with bent elbows and just leave them bent for now. And then you're going to swing your fists to look up at the ceiling and swing back down. Swing up, swing down, swing, and lower. Very nice. The higher the elbows, the more of a challenge. All right, now swing up and pause. You're going to punch your arms up and down and then return to where we started. That's not easy. Externally rotate and then try to punch directly up from that arm position and down. If you need to punch more forward, totally fine. That will be less intense on the shoulders, but the more up and back, the harder it is. Let's do that 3 more times. Swing, punch, in and down. 2 more. Swing, up, in, and down. Last time. And then go ahead and rest. So nice. All right, sit up. Now we are going to bend the knees a little bit. Leave the ankles flexed though, so the band has a nice little something to grip on, okay? So now, holding with your 2 fists, you're going to make a circle with your arms. So you have 2 separate fists, and then you're just going to point them to look at each other, so the arms are in a big round circle. All right, so sitting up tall, we're going to inhale to get ready. Now as you breathe out, you're going to tuck your pelvis, roll away from your legs, and you're going to bring the fist towards you so that circle gets smaller, and then you're just going to reinflate the circle of your arms to sit back up tall. Yeah, so really getting the low back and the pelvis to mobilize, and then the further you bring the knuckles towards your chest, the greater the tension is going to be on the band for the arm movements we're going to add on here in a second, okay? So now roll back and stay. Now it's almost like your top fist is punching down on the bottom one. You're going to rotate to one side and then return. Now be aware, we want our legs to stay nice and parallel. So try not to let the knees go rotating off to either side. Very nice. Few more. See if you can roll back a little deeper. Maybe get that elbow closer to the floor. Let's do 4 more. Twist. Last 3. Look where you're twisting to. Last 1, pause in the middle and then sit all the way up. All right, next we add the punch of one arm. So start with your big circle, make it smaller to roll back. Now, the band might catch on itself, doesn't matter. You can have either band crossed over top, not gonna make a difference, okay? So now twist to one side. Your back arm is gonna punch across your center and then touch the knuckles. Other side, punch and in. So see how one of my tails gets kind of caught on the other one, twisting to one side? No worries, it's not going to make a difference in how it feels. Yeah, rotate. Think of pulling that back elbow towards the floor, just like we did in that previous twist. Last one. And then sit all the way up tall. Whew. All right, next is both arms. So we roll back, set ourselves up, rotate to one side and punch both arms a little wider than shoulder width apart, and then return. Other side, twist and reach all at once, and then return. Rotate, and then in, reach. The wider your hands go apart, the harder it is on the shoulders. So you can make more of a T if you want to add more challenge for the arms. Last one. And then sit all the way back up tall. Whew, so nice. All right, one last thing here. You're gonna uncross the tails so they go back in their appropriate hands and reach the legs back long, or as long as you are able to do. Now, grab back onto your band. You're gonna pull your elbows back, sit tall, and we're gonna do some tricep presses. So the challenge here is to keep our vertical sitting position as we do these, which is a lot harder than it looks. Yeah, you have to really draw up and in from your lower abdominals and swing from the elbows. Yes, change up your grip to increase or decrease the load. Let's do that a few more times. Now, when you kick the fists back, you're also going to flex over the legs and then return. So maybe slow it down a little bit. This is almost like an upright abdominal curl. So as if there was a beach ball on your lap, you're trying to go up and over it with your body rather than flatten out and pop it. Good, let's do that 2 more times. Hollowing over, get the arms a little higher. Now pause upside down and do a few extra tricep presses, keeping your rounded spine. For 4, draw those abs up and in. 3, last 2, 1, and then relax. Whew. All right, you can let the band come off of your feet. Okay, and then we are going to change positions. So now we're going to go into a side plank. You are going to grab onto your band. So come on to your knees. You're going to pin one end of the band underneath your bottom arm. Okay, so I'm going to pin it to the mat, okay? And then you can either have both your knees bent or your top leg straight. I kind of like legs straight, so join me on that if you would like. Now, the other arm's going to reach forward. The closer the hands start together, the more the resistance is going to be on the band. So pick where you'd like to start. You can always change it. Press the bottom shoulder away. Now, I'm going to lift my hips up and I'm going to pull out until the band is tight against my chest and then come back down. Do that again. I lift and pull. The arm can go behind my body a little bit and then return. So feel big separation between those 2 hands and then replace. Few more times here. Lift and then lower. Now this time get up there and stay, and we're going to add in a little extra rotation. So rotate, pull the arm further, try to look at the ceiling, and then return. Now keep the hips up. You can go till the band gets slack and then pull again. Rotate and then reach the arm forward. Good. Do that 3 more times. Pull and twist and forward. 3 more. Pull and twist. Last 2. So good. Last 1. Now, I want you to untwist just till the band comes off of your chest. So wherever that is for you. Now bend and stretch the elbow. So the band shouldn't really be touching your body anymore. Kind of punch the fist up and forward in these little single arm triceps. Now, if you'd like, you can also lift and lower that top leg. 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Whew. Oh, so nice. All right, so come on to your new side. One hand pinning the band, knees either stacked or top leg straight. Okay, reach your top arm out, draw the ribs up. Hip is gonna lift as we pull the band tight and then release and lower. Good, so you can adjust for these first few till you find that sweet spot of resistance and then down. So good, try to time that pull with the end of your range of the hips lifting. Good. Let's do that a few more times. Feel that whole bottom side nice and lit up. 2. Now pause at the top and stay. We're going to add a little bigger range of motion. Rotate and open the arm back, and then return the arm till the band gets slack. Pull again. So my hips stay, and it's a rotation, and then a release. Few more. Up and back. Let's do 3 more here. Try to leave the lower body strong. Upper body's the mover. 2. Last one. Now come forward just till that band comes off your body and take a few single arm tricep presses. Big breaths in and out. Now maybe adding on that lift and lower of the top leg for 4, for 3, 2, 1, and then rest all the way down. Whew. Amazing. All right, we're gonna do one last thing down here on the mat, and then we're gonna finish up on our legs standing, okay? So take the band. If you have a ponytail like I do, move it aside. You're gonna, again, open it as wide and flat as you can, and then you're just gonna lay it across the back of your rib cage. Yes? So kind of right across your shoulder blade, so it'll come forward right under your armpits, and then you're gonna pin it under both of your hands. Yes, so kind of across your thumb, open the hands and the fingers nice and wide. Okay, so we're gonna do push-ups with the band here, and what it's gonna do is give us some really cool feedback for what our scapula are doing here. Okay, so let's start with our knees right underneath our hips just to kind of get the feeling of this. So you're on all fours. Really push your pointer finger knuckle down into the mat so the wrist is nice and secure. Now, all we're going to do is isolate our scapula here. So leave your back neutral, and you're just going to pinch your shoulder blades in along your spine, and you'll feel like you're sinking towards the floor, and then spread the shoulder blades apart and puff the ribs up to the ceiling between them. Do that again. So it's not a spinal movement necessarily. The spine will kind of go along for the ride, but it's really that protraction and retraction that gets us moving here, okay? So go until you feel that, and having the band there, it gives us something to push into. So really see if you can go till you feel that resistance from the band. All right? Okay, now that we've felt that, I want you to stay in that protraction place, wide, and then step your knees back. Apart is easier, together is a little harder. Now, send your hips forward, and we're gonna do a push-up in 3 pieces. So bend your elbows 1/3 of the way, bend your elbows 2/3 of the way, go as far as you can, and then as you exhale, you're gonna puff those shoulder blades up into the band on the return. Do that again. Breathe in for 3, 2, 1, and then 1 big long exhale. So good. A few more sets. So that muscle, one of the main ones that does that protracting action, is a super important muscle in the push-up. Yes, so by kind of getting us connected to the feeling of this protraction and the push-up, is going to strengthen that serratus anterior muscle, and that is going to help us advance our push-ups big time. Let's do that 2 more times. Down, down, down. 1 big push away. Last one. Down, down, down. Now let's just get it over with, and we're going to reverse this. So we're going to go down on 1 big inhale, come up in 3 bits. 3, 2, 1. That's not easy. Do that again. Inhale, drop. Exhale, come up 1/3, 2/3, all the way. Okay, 3 more times. Now you're welcome to change the grip of your hands to get more or less tightness on the band for you to push up into. Obviously, the tighter it is, the harder it's going to be. Last one. And then step your knees in and relax. Amazing. And then when you go to do your regular push-ups, imagine that band is there and just kind of see how it goes for you. Okay? All right, come up to standing. We're going to finish with one last little set. So biceps is kind of one that we haven't quite hit as much yet. So we're going to stand on the band. Again, try to get it flat and wide and open. And then we're going to step on. Step about in the middle of your band-ish, hip width apart. Okay. If you step your feet wider, you'll actually get more tension on the band. So just know that. Narrower feet will give you a little less. All right, and then where you grip has a lot to do with it as well. So grip with your thumbs pointing up and the tail of your band coming out of the top, okay? So we're gonna stand tall and just take some bicep curls, okay? So you're gonna flex the elbows, draw the fists up towards shoulders, and then back down. Good. Now you don't want to feel like your shoulders are in your ears or like they're getting pulled down to the floor. You want them to live somewhere in between. Yes, so maybe shrug your shoulders up and down a few times till you kind of find that middle range. Now, instead of coming just straight forward, let's go out to the side. So turn the fists out, almost like a W, up and down. Good. Make sure we're not locking into the backs of the knees. Okay, now we're going to kind of put those two positions together. We're going to come narrow on the way up, wide on the way down. It's almost like a circular bicep curl, and you can even let your arms come in all the way to do a full circle. So you'll kind of overlap your fists, maybe alternate which one goes in front, if you can think of what's doing what. Yes, and then make sure those shoulders aren't getting bogged down. Now let's reverse that. Go out wide and then in and across. Out and around, out and around. So good. Two more times. Circle and circle. Whew. Okay. Shake the arms out a little bit. All right. So next we are going to do, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me a little bit better. We're going to do, instead of a curl, we're going to kind of keep the elbows bent and do more of a punch. Okay. So bend the elbows and you're just going to punch, punch, punch up with your knuckles, okay? Now try to stand tall. It's gonna start burning here pretty fast. Now, 4 counts. We're gonna drop down for 4 pulses or pumps into a squat, and then we're gonna stand up for 5 punches. So when we go down, we get slack on the band, and the resistance gets lighter. So that's almost like a little break. And then when we stand up, it gets back to that intense spot. Whew, let's do that 3 more times. Down for 4 punches, up for 4 punches. Last 2, down, 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 up, up, up. So good. Last one, down, and then up. Whew, and then drop your arms. Awesome, you guys. All right, take your band. I'm going to double mine up. You can do the same or leave it long. And then we're going to finish with a little bit of a stretch for our spine and our arms, which we worked so much, okay? So go ahead and hold your band out in front of you. Stand about maybe a little wider than hip width distance apart. And we're just going to pull one arm out to the side. Let the other arm follow across and get a stretch for the outside of the shoulder that's across the body. And then we'll do that to the other side. Pull the arm across. Avoid my microphone. Go across the other way. Good. Do that one more time to each side. Pull straight across. Good. And then over to the other side. There we go. Very nice. Good. All right. Now, reach the band out in front of you. I'm going to come to my knees just so you can see me a little better. You can be on your knees or standing. You're going to reach your arms up towards the ceiling, and then you take your arms as far back behind your head as you feel comfortable with to stretch your chest, and then drop them back down. The wider your hands are on the band, the further back your arms are going to be able to go. Yeah? So find that sweet spot. Good. But it should feel so nice. Woo, through the chest and then down. Good. Let's do that 2 more times just because it feels so good. You could also let your band go all the way around till it hits your glutes on the back, and then around and forward if that mobility is available to you. So good. Whew. All right, pause with your arms straight up and down, and we're going to go into a side bend. So you're going to pull with one arm, take the other arm overhead, find a nice stretch for that side body, and then come up tall. And we'll do the other side. Whew. And then restack. And again, you can be standing or kneeling or even sitting. Can be anywhere for this upper body movement. Ah, very nice. Awesome, you guys. All right, one last stretch. You're going to hold the band behind your body. So it's kind of where we got to if you were doing that full range last time. grab on. Now, the narrower your hands are, the more this will be a stretch, okay? So start maybe about shoulder width apart, and then you can go crazier from there if you want. So we're just gonna press the arms up and back, and then drop them back down. And you can give the band a little bit of a pull. That will help with the range of motion. Yeah, so just seeing how far into that shoulder extension we can comfortably go. Okay, now here's where you would adjust your grip if you feel like you need a little wider to get bigger range. Now, press your arms up and fold your body forward to get a little bit increased stretch, and then come back up tall. Do that again. If that doesn't feel good, then just stick with pushing the arms back. Allow the head to drop, and then come back up tall. Let's do that 2 more times. Woo. So get nice and mobile through the shoulders. Gravity kind of takes over towards the end and helps pull them to the other side, which is nice. 1 more. Whew. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that arm-focused workout using the Flex Band, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.